panic surged through Liwei as he realized his attempt to stop her had failed, that she was truly determined not to let him go. He rushed out of the lab, his heart pounding, following her into the room. There she sat on the bed, his cell phone clutched tightly to her chest, her body trembling, her determination carved into every line of her face. He stood there, frustration building, knowing exactly why she was doing this. She was afraid of losing him. He could see it in her eyes. She was afraid she would lose him like she had lost her mother. The fear was etched deep and raw across her features. He stepped closer, his voice firm yet desperate, telling her not to act this way, to give him his cell phone back. She shook her head, tears streaming freely, her body quivering as she declared that she wouldn't let him go. Liwei froze for a fraction of a second, staring at her, a mixture of frustration and helplessness tightening around his chest. For the first time, he understood just how stubborn she could be, how unyielding her will was. If he didn't do something now, she could very well continue locking him inside the house, stopping him from leaving altogether. He stepped closer, hand outstretched, pleading for her to give him the phone, telling her he needed to go. But Amara remained unflinching, clutching the phone as if it were the last lifeline between them, refusing to yield. Realizing words alone would not work, Liwei climbed onto the bed, moving toward her, grabbing her wrists gently but firmly, trying to pry her fingers from the cell phone. She resisted, steadfast, unwavering, refusing to give in. He looked at her, calling babe, telling her to stop, trying again to snatch the phone, but she shifted away, facing the other way. He leaned in closer, firmer this time, making sure not to hurt her, but the bed shook beneath them as they struggled together. The tension built, bodies colliding, strength meeting strength, as he tossed her gently on her back and lay on top of her, holding her beneath him. Her resistance was fierce, her fear and love entangled in every motion, and he realized she wasn't herself. He called out her name, telling her to stop doing this. And then he kissed her, firmly, decisively, crushing his lips onto hers. He didn't want to fight her, didn't want to struggle anymore. His strength was overwhelming compared to hers, and if he continued wrestling for the phone, he might hurt her. So he kissed her, holding her lips with his, letting her struggle, letting her bite, scratch, hit his chest even as she thrashed beneath him. At that moment, the cell phone, the mission, all of it faded. There was only her, only the need to bring her back, to calm her, to make her remember herself. He held her as she wrapped her arms around him, struggling, moving, resisting, but he didn't let go. He wasn't going to let her leave his arms until she calmed, until the storm inside her subsided. Slowly, her strength gave way. The fight drained out of her, replaced by sobs that shook her from the inside, violent and raw. Her head fell against his chest, fingers curling into his shirt as if clinging to the only thing keeping her upright. The phone slipped from her grasp, landing forgotten on the bed. They sank down together, sitting on the edge of the mattress, tangled in each other's arms. Amara cried openly, no longer strong, no longer holding back, grief spilling from her body as if it could no longer contain itself. Her shoulders shook violently as she buried her face against him, the sound of her breaking filling the room. Liwei tightened his embrace, chin resting against the top of her head, eyes closing as her pain seeped into him. Tears burned behind his eyes, and before he could stop them, they spilled over, sliding down his face in silence. He did not wipe them away. He did not try to hide them. This was not weakness. This was surrender to the moment. He held her as if memorizing every ounce of her, the weight, the warmth. The way she fit against him so perfectly it felt cruel that the world demanded he leave her behind. His breath hitched as the reality pressed down on him, the knowledge that Master Shen had been right, that later he would face the impossible choice, his mission, the vengeance he had plotted for 10 years, or her. The moment had arrived. Either he walked out that door and fulfilled everything he had been planning for a decade, or he stayed here, forgetting the hatred, the thirst for revenge, and let himself live fully with her, start a life together, finally move forward. They stayed like that, locked together in the quiet aftermath of a struggle and tension neither of them had wanted, sharing the same grief, the same fear, the same unbearable love. For a brief moment, time slowed, and in that fragile stillness, they were not mission and sacrifice. They were just two people holding on to each other as the night closed in. Her sobs slowed, leaving only the trembling of her body, and he didn't want to let go, tightening his embrace around her. A quiet stillness settled between them, the shattered items from their struggle scattered across the floor, silent witnesses to the storm that had just passed. He leaned in, pressing a gentle kiss to her forehead, whispering in her ear that he loved her so much, that he didn't care how messy, how chaotic, how vulnerable she became before him. He loved her deeply with everything he had, that he would love her through the good moments and the storms alike. Another gentle kiss on her forehead followed, and in that fragile intimacy the doorbell rang, startling both of them. He knew immediately it was Master Shen, there to fetch him, to check on him. The bell rang again. Amara slowly lifted her head, their gazes locking, and she spoke for the first time since the chaos, telling him that she would let him go. She touched his face gently, the warmth of her hands grounding him, and told him that he should come back to her safe and sound, that she would be waiting. Liwei said nothing. He simply looked at her, his heart aching under the weight of the moment, leaning his forehead against hers, tracing every line, every curve of her face with his fingers, as though committing each feature to memory. He whispered that he loved her, and Amara whispered back that she loved him too. He promised he would come back, and she nodded, her trust heavy in the silence between them. He pulled her into his arms again, tighter this time, as if holding her could somehow make the world stop, as if keeping her close could shield them both from the danger outside. The doorbell rang again, and he looked at her, telling her it was Master Shen, that he had to go. Amara nodded. She handed him his cell phone from the bed and told him she would unlock the door. They held hands as they walked toward it, a final bridge of safety and trust between them. Amara entered the pin, and the lock clicked open. Master Shen stepped in, worry etched across his face, immediately noticing the bite marks on Li Wei's neck, the tender redness on his lips. He asked what had happened, if they had been fighting, but Li Wei dodged the question, keeping his tone steady, telling him he was ready and they could go. Master Shen, sensing the need for privacy, stepped back, giving them a moment. Li Wei pulled Amara into his arms once more, holding her tightly, whispering that he would come back and that she should wait for him. She said nothing, letting her head rest against his chest, letting him hold her one last time before the night demanded him. He touched her face again, telling her he loved her so much that after this they would be safe, that they would finally start their life together. Amara nodded. He leaned closer, coaxing her to smile for him, to give him that spark before he left. She hesitated, but he didn't look away, his gaze steady and unyielding. A faint smile tugged at her lips, and without a word, he pulled her closer, pressing his lips to hers, savoring every warmth, every fragile softness. Finally, he let go and told her he had to go. He turned, but her hand remained clutched to his, unwilling to release him. He looked back, leaning close again, whispering that she should be his good girl, trust him, and wait for him. She slowly let go, her heart heavy, and he gave her one final lingering glance before turning away. He walked out, not looking back. She stood by the doorway, watching him disappear into the night, silently praying that he would come back, that he would return safe, that this was not the last time she would see him.